Bueno, ¿qué tal, chicos y chicas? Bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo en el canal y en esta ocasión ya veis el título, Voy a tener que coger, volver a ponerme las gafas de loco, de cuando hice aquel vídeo en el que nos criticabais a mí y a Alexis por decir que ojito con este tío, que en cualquier momento podía levantar la mano y decir que vuelvo a la tarima. Y como digo, vais a ver unos titulares muy sugerentes de la entrevista de Bumstead con Fouad Abiad, que diga. Y como digo, se deja la puerta abierta de manera bastante clara y con bastantes referencias a Michael Jordan, que ya os dije que me sonaba esto bastante a esa retirada de Jordan que luego volvió. Habla de un intento de intentar salir un poco de esta rutina, ver si es capaz de sobrepasar al menos o dejar atrás una vida de demasiado orden para llevar una vida más normal, pero que por otro lado él es un tipo ordenado, que sabe que va a echarle menos la competición, que sabe que le encanta esa presión y que nada va a ser comparable a la presión de competir. Con lo cual, insisto, veremos a ver, a mí no me extrañaría nada que esto es una retirada de un tiempo y que en el momento que menos no lo pensemos, puede ser que vuelva o bien a Clásico o bien a Open. Esto ya es cuestión de lo que él quiera defender, hasta dónde quiera llegar. Cierto es que si quiere competir en Open va a necesitar bastante más falta de ayudas que evidentemente no son buenas para la salud, pero bueno, como digo, veremos a ver cuál es la decisión de Bumstead en unos años, pero ya os digo yo que vamos a ver declaraciones más que sugerentes, como digo, sobre este tema. Vamos a pasar, si os parece, a las declaraciones de Fouad Abiad, porque hay muchísima tela donde cortar. Hay, como podéis imaginar, desde la competición pura y dura hasta por supuesto esta idea de la retirada, un posible regreso, etcétera, etcétera. Así que si os parece vamos a ir de menos a más. Vamos a pasar primero por lo que es la competición, cómo se ve, cómo pretende salir, con qué kilos pretende salir, cómo él cree que puede llegar a la tarima y ser competitivo en cuestión de 5 o 6 días. Vamos a escucharlo.
Do you think going into open
gets away with it, but
do you think going into open will allow you to be a little softer, or are you not looking at it that way?
I would like to be just fuller, and if I have to sacrifice some of my like dry sharpness, I'm willing to do that for this. It is also just selfishly, not whether or not I think it's going to be a better look to win, but selfishly I just want to see what I look like actually being full, because I've always kind of said it's easy for me to make weight, but it's really not. I just like really push myself down to get under there.
Right.
And I'm usually so depleted I can't fill back up in 2 days.
Right.
To the full extent that I would like to see on stage. So I just don't want to do that this time. And that's kind of the point of this show, is like, I'm done, I'm in shape. Let's see what my body looks like doing a different style, maybe pushing down a little less hard, filling up a little bit more, sacrificing maybe a little bit of that sharpness just to be really full and see what happens.
I don't think I've ever asked Ian this, because obviously Ian coached you for so long, he would know, but what weight is it where you're the happiest? Like when you're getting ready for the Olympia, before you have to start losing muscle to make weight, what weight is it where you look in the mirror and go, this is my best ultimate look? Is it like 255? Is it 250? Like, how much weight are you losing from your happiest to actually get into the classic class?
It's hard to say. I mean, we all know, like, looking at check-ins and post-workout pictures, you look full at the house and you feel great, but that look's not going to look as good on stage. You know, you're going to look more watery once you have the tan and under the lights and everything. But I would say at like 250, I'm normally like, fuck yeah. Like, I have my delts are still around, my chest is popping, my back is still around, everything's like full, and I'm lean. I have lines in my glutes and I feel really good. And then chipping down another like 9 pounds from there, I normally start to like lose that like fullness that kind of gets me fired up.
Do you think going into open
gets away with it, but
Pues ahí teníamos las declaraciones de, como digo, de Bumstead, dejando claro un poco por dónde quiere salir, en torno a 250 libras. Yo personalmente creo que va a salir con un poquito más, no mucho más, porque todo lo que sea subir de más puede ir en detrimento de cómo se le vea, de cómo sea el look, de la condición con la que pueda salir, que también va a ser una baza importante. Yo creo que va a ser, de hecho, la baza que va a jugar Bumstead a falta del tamaño, porque no da tiempo, básicamente. Así que ya habéis visto un poquito cuál es la idea, pero yo sé que no habéis venido precisamente buscando esto. Yo sé que habéis venido buscando lo que reza en el titular de la miniatura, lo que reza en el titular del vídeo, y vamos a ir empezando por ahí. Como digo, vamos a empezar, ¿no?, por cómo ve esa situación de la retirada y qué es lo que le motiva en cuanto a dejar a un lado ¿no? La competición y qué cree que es lo que va a ganar con esta retirada. Vamos a escucharlo.
I don't know if you've probably had a chance to feel it yet because you're back in prep, but what would be your happiest thing about retiring? Like, what is the thing that you're not going to miss where you're like, I don't have to do that anymore. I get to just move on with my life?
I think the biggest one is just the constant mental pressure.
Okay.
Of like, I give myself like a little bit of downtime after Olympia, but then it's where I'm like, fuck, now I'm behind. Like, what should Mr. Olympia look like? Like, if I'm trying to represent classic physique Mr. Olympia, what do I need to look like right now? Like, I know I look good, but I don't look like I need to look like to win the Olympia. And having that constant pressure of just kind of like worrying about making sure everything's on point and everything's on track, you're looking good, sleeping good, like just that overarching pressure that making sure everything's kind of like in line to make sure that at the end of the year that I'm best in the world in the Olympia stage. That just ease of pressure, I think, is something I'm very much looking forward to. And I think it's just gonna like open, like in the cheesiest way, like my heart to more energy, you know, to have more abundance, to like live more aspects of my life, pour more into other aspects of my life, because that's not always on the background of my mind, making sure that that's all good and that's okay and that's all set. I can just be fully present in every other aspect of my life.
Pues ya lo habéis escuchado, retirada como en el intento de convertirse en una persona normal, sin tener un gran orden en cuanto a tengo que comer ahora, me toca comer esto, no puedo salir porque tengo que estar concentrado en una preparación, un poquito liberarse de ese estrés, eso que él cree que es lo que va a ganar, reducir esta presión. Pero claro, no estamos hablando de un cualquiera, estamos hablando de Chris Bumstead, un tipo acostumbrado a esa presión, que esa presión le da la vida y que por supuesto también va a tener que renunciar a muchas cosas. Ojito a lo que continúa, porque este vídeo está cortado, esto continúa. Porque aquí va a ser cuando Fouad Abiad, inteligente por supuesto, le va a preguntar sobre si dentro de su cabeza, como ya hizo Michael Jordan, como ya hizo Arnold Schwarzenegger, etcétera, etcétera, está la idea de, una vez que te retiras y ves los toros desde la barrera, decir, pues ahora voy a volver y voy a volver a poner mi nombre donde ha estado todo este tiempo, que será el número 1, ese reto, esas ganas, ¿no?, de querer demostrar. Vamos a escucharlo porque, insisto, vamos a tocar varias claves dentro de este corte, es un poquito más largo, pero creo que es el corte o uno de los cortes para mí más importantes que ha dicho Cbum desde que se retirara del Mr. Olympia, así que ojito con ello, ¿eh? Vamos a escucharlo.
Is it worth it? Yeah. Is that worth it?
Yeah. Chris, I'm sure you've probably been asked this question a million times, and if not, I'm sure you're going to be asked it a million times. Is this like a Michael Jordan kind of thing or an Arnold Schwarzenegger thing where you like retire and then you come back and just get your title back one day? Like, are we going to see you on stage again in 3 years where you're like, you know what, I kind of miss it? Because I'm going to tell you, for somebody who's been retired for 10 years or 5 years, whatever the fuck it is, you start to miss that pressure. So I'm like, I wonder, are you going to find that pressure in some other, like, I know you have multiple businesses, like, are you going to find that pressure there, or is the singular pressure of bodybuilding different than business pressure?
I don't think anything will ever compare to what I just did for the last 6 years.
Right. That's
right. And I think whether I come back in a year from now or in 2 years or never or whatever, I know for a fact I will always be like, fuck, that was pretty sweet, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we all grew up watching sports movies or fucking Michael Jordan or, you know, Wayne Gretzky, Tiger Woods, and like the people competing to be the best in the world or something. Like, I got to do that for 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware that nothing will compare to that.
Yeah.
In that same sense, there will be other beautiful things in my life,
right,
but not to that same extent, you know? Not walking into a room and people being like, fuck, like competitors asking you for a picture, people being like joking about you, asking when I'm going to retire because they want a chance to win, like just like security bringing me in back doors, just fucking walking in big dick energy like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never have that same kind of like.
I think you're still going to have that. I think you're still going to have that.
Yeah, you're probably going to have it for a while.
The Olympia,
I don't think that's going anywhere. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. But I don't mean that shit. That I look. I can. Oh, I don't understand it to your level, of course, but I know what you mean about that part of it. I'm talking more about in your house when you're by yourself. Like, one of the things I miss about bodybuilding was the pressure. Me and Ian have talked about this after he retired too. Like, you know, Ian started running for a little while, and it was almost like, and I did like jiu-jitsu, and you start trying to chase these other things where you can progress the way you did in bodybuilding. And then you're like, oh, fuck, there's nothing that's actually going to compare to that. So I guess I'm kind of asking, I don't mean as much in a sense of your popularity or your winning, I mean, more in a sense of just your day to day. Do you think there'll come a time where you're like, I just kind of miss the grind? Because no other grind is really the same. Like when you run a business, you run it with multiple people. It's not really the same as the singular grind that, the individual pursuit that comes with bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll miss it, you know? You guys have more experience being retired than I do, but I have no doubt about that. And I've already had moments now, you know, where I'm still in prep now, but thinking of this part of my life being over, and like just the control you have over it too, you know?
Yeah.
Like so much stuff can go wrong all the time, and it can be this person's fault, all these things going wrong, but like bodybuilding, you have a pretty good level of control over everything.
Yeah.
That monotonous day to day, like you said, just driving constant progress every single day. And I have no doubt on it. I can't tell you what it's going to feel like. You know, there's going to be moments when I do I right now, do I think I'm going to come back? No, you know, but this shit change maybe, but it's hard for me to imagine me doing it again.
Pues ahí lo tenéis. Obviamente está en su cabeza el hecho de volver ya, no, lo ha dicho ahí, pero sabe lo que va a perder, sabe lo que va a echar de menos volver y sentirse por lo que a día de hoy es, que es un número uno. De hecho, lo habéis visto cómo lo ha comentado, que ha dicho, siempre voy a extrañar eso. A ver si encuentro justo el clip, a ver si lo encuentro justo, porque además es que queda bastante bien claro y definido por él, ¿no? Vamos a intentar escucharla, a ver si es esto de aquí.
So I guess I'm kind of asking, I don't mean as much in a sense of your popularity or your winning. I mean more in a sense of just your day to day. Do you think there'll come a time where you're like, I just kind of miss the grind? Because no other grind is really the same. Like when you run a business, you run it with multiple people. It's not really the same as the singular grind that, the individual pursuit that comes with bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll miss it, you know? You guys have more experience being retired than I do, but I have no doubt about that. And I've already had moments now, you know, where I'm still in prep now, but thinking of this part of my life being over, and like just the control you have over it too, you know?
Yeah.
Like so much stuff can go wrong all the time, and it can be this person's fault, all these things going wrong, but like bodybuilding, you have a pretty good level of control over everything. That monotonous day to day, like you said, just driving constant progress every single day. And I have no doubt on it. I can't tell you what it's going to feel like. You know, there's going to be moments when I do I right now, do I think I'm going to come back? No, you know, but this shit change maybe, but it's hard for me to imagine me doing it again. It's like
las cosas cambian, es que está más claro que el agua. O sea, yo insisto, o sea, esto como todo, si él se retira y cambia de chip y la vida que tiene, digamos que es un poco lo que a él le llena, y no piensa a lo mejor tanto en lo que fue, sino en lo que en ese momento es, puede ser que no vuelva, pero a mí me extrañaría muchísimo. Primero, es imposible que este tipo se deje, es imposible que este chaval se deje llevar y de pronto veamos un Cbum que en 2-3 años el físico se le ha ido por el garete. Me parece imposible, lo digo ya porque tiene imagen, tiene negocios, etcétera, etcétera, con lo cual no se va a permitir relajarse lo más mínimo, dentro de que evidentemente bajará el pistón en el caso de que se sienta retirado como tal, vuelvo a insistir. Pero claro, la sombra del querer volver a sentir esos focos, volver a sentir la presión de la tarima. De hecho, escuchamos una entrevista hace días, escasos días, a Sergio Dufour con Jorge Tavez, que Sergio Dufour expresaba eso. Es decir, yo lo que echo realmente de menos es ese momento de salir a la tarima, de tener mi momento, de sentirme observado por todos, observado por los jueces, observado por los fans, el hecho de expresar el trabajo de todo un año. Esa presión de decir, llegaré en un buen momento, seré competitivo. Todo eso, y más en un tío que ha ganado 6 veces el Mister Olympia, creedme que cuando esté en su casa, jugando con su hija, estando con su mujer, todo eso va a estar en la cabeza dando vueltas, y le van a llamar, y le van a invitar, y vente a Arnold a presentar, o a una feria, a una conferencia. Por supuesto, eso que dice de que no va a necesitar seguridad y tal, ya os digo yo que para nada, sobre todo los primeros años, pero yo insisto en que va a ser muy jodido para él, y lo vamos a ver, el hecho de intentar volver a un orden, o mejor dicho, quitarse de en medio un orden que desde luego es bastante sintomático en el mundo del culturismo. Vamos a escuchar este último clip y cerramos el vídeo.
That wants to just do nothing? Like, do you want to like wake up and go, I don't have fuck all to do. I'm going to have a piece of cake for breakfast.
No, I used to think that, but absolutely not. No.
Okay.
My life is fucking so busy right now that I don't even know how I'm prepping. And being able to take away bodybuilding prep right now, I'm barely even gonna have time to do what I have to do outside of bodybuilding. So I don't know. And you see, I feel like Ian can attest to this, but I'm definitely like one of the least bodybuilders of bodybuilders. Like,
why do you say that?
I'm not. I just feel like whenever I'm like hanging out with other bodybuilders and stuff like that, I'm like a little bit less like worried about the control and a little bit more relaxed. If I'm like, oh fuck, I missed this meal, I'll have 2 tomorrow, you know, like in prep this year, like at my best, I was very like flowing, you know, I'd wake up and be like, I dropped a pound, honey's still asleep, I'm not gonna do cardio today and I'm gonna eat a little extra of this, and I know that's what my body needs, and just kind of like flow through. And that's when I was at my best. And you know, I wanted to think that I would just be able to let go of it, and I also don't want to be that ignorant thinking that, because I technically like retired last year.
Yeah.
And that only lasted 3 months, and I ended up doing this
back here
again. Clearly I didn't think it was going to be as easy as I thought, but there's no part of me that wants to do nothing. No, I'll definitely, I want to maintain busy and structure. But the other thing though is I have this like weird desire to do ayahuasca.
Okay.
And I think it's because I want to learn how to let go of wanting to control things.
Right.
So like, will I come back to this point of wanting to have all this control? Yes. But I would also like to take that as, you know, a challenge to overcome my desire to control things and be able to let go more and be more accepting of life as it is. And I think if I can accomplish that, then I wouldn't even be able to get back in bodybuilding if I wanted to.
Right. Do you think the flowing...
If that makes sense.
Pues ahí lo tenéis, ¿eh? Va a intentar tirar de... Joder, esto es increíble. Va a intentar tirar de ayahuasca a ver si consigue salir de ese control total de las cosas, dejarse fluir. Y si eso ocurre, si finalmente la ayahuasca hace su digamos, su proceso natural, podríamos decir así, o su efecto, quizá tendríamos más lejos la opción de que Chris Bumstead pudiera volver a la tarima. Así que desde aquí hago un llamamiento a todos los proveedores de ayahuasca que por favor cierren todas sus sucursales para que este tío no pille ayahuasca y no haya la posibilidad de que le guste, y a partir de ahí se vaya retirando poco a poco la posibilidad de que le veamos en las tarimas. Así que poquito más, chicos y chicas, ha habido un poquito largo, pero bueno, yo creo que mereció la pena porque había bastantes declaraciones de Chris Bumstead. No cierra la puerta de volver. Tiene muy en referencia lo que hizo Michael Jordan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tiger Woods, es decir, retirarse como campeones, pasar un poquito de tiempo en la otra acera, ver con perspectiva todo lo que hay dentro de su mundillo y a partir de ahí decidir a regresar y volver a campeonar. No lo descarta ni por un mínimo. De hecho, se retira también, entre otras cosas, para ver si es capaz de volver a no tener tanto ordenamiento dentro de su vida. Veremos a ver si lo consigue o no. Parece que puede tirar la ayahuasca, ojalá que no lo haga por la cuenta que le trae. Y como digo, no se descarta esa vía. Así que ahora me dejáis en la caja de comentarios qué opináis. No volvéis a llamar locos a Alex, a mí, a muchos otros que hemos opinado, a José Suárez, recuerdo también, gente que hemos opinado que no veíamos esta retirada como algo definitivo, que creíamos que iba a ser un proceso de transición. Así que nos dejéis en la caja de comentarios qué opináis de estas declaraciones. Dale un fuerte like al vídeo, suscribiros al canal, por supuesto la campanita, que no se os olvide, y os veo a las 11 de la noche en The Iron Road. Así que como siempre digo, siempre a más.